Hello, brothers, and welcome to Sigma Old Man Channel. The quietest man in the room isn't harmless. He's just calculating whether your downfall should be fast or poetic. Most people think psycho mode is loud, rage-filled outbursts, broken glass, and dramatic confrontations. But when a Sigma male flips that internal switch, you won't hear shouting. You won't see fists flying. Instead, you'll feel something much worse. The eerie silence of a man who's decided your existence is now irrelevant. And here's a brutal fact most people miss. Psychologists say the most dangerous individuals aren't the explosive ones. They're the silent strategists who smile while rewriting your fate behind the scenes. And guess what? Sigma males wrote that playbook in their sleep. They're the ones who don't need chaos to destroy you, just a well-timed absence, a severed connection, or a quiet exposure of your deepest flaws. And the best part, they'll do it so calmly, you'll probably end up apologizing to them. Let that sink in. So buckle up. Forget what you thought you knew about going psycho. This isn't about madness. It's about methodical psychological warfare wearing the mask of indifference. Let's dive into what really happens when the quietest man in the room stops pretending to care. Number one, his dark side never switches off again. When a Sigma male goes full psycho mode, something permanent changes inside him. This isn't a temporary breakdown or some emotional outburst that fades after a few days. It's a switch that once flipped, never truly turns off again. People like to think that anger or darkness is a phase. You get mad, you cool off, and then you return to who you were. But that's not how it works with a Sigma. When his darker side comes out, it's not some foreign monster. It's a part of him that's been there all along, watching silently, waiting patiently, and now finally unleashed without apology. From that moment on, he sees the world through a colder, sharper lens. The same streets he used to walk calmly now look like a battlefield of manipulation and hidden motives. The people he used to tolerate now feel like ticking time bombs of betrayal. He doesn't laugh as easily. He doesn't trust as quickly. And most importantly, he doesn't give anyone the benefit of the doubt anymore. He's done pretending that people are better than they are. He stops playing the role of the quiet guy who minds his business and lets things slide. Instead, he watches, calculates, responds only when it suits his interests, not out of kindness. You'll never see him fully relax again in public. Not because he's scared, but because he's done lowering his guard for people who don't deserve it. He keeps one part of his mind detached from every conversation, every relationship, every moment of vulnerability. He can still be friendly, he can still smile, but deep down, that switch stays on. He's operating from a place of cold awareness, not naive hope. And here's the cruel part. Once that darker side is awakened, life starts making more sense to him. People's selfishness becomes predictable. Betrayals no longer shock him. They confirm what he already suspects. He realizes the world doesn't run on kindness, it runs on leverage. And now, he's no longer afraid to use it. The Sigma male doesn't become a monster. He becomes something far more dangerous, someone who no longer cares to pretend he's harmless. Number two, he harvests information like a predator, then strikes. When a Sigma male goes into predator mode, he doesn't chase chaos blindly, he studies it, quietly, patiently. While everyone else is running their mouths, showing their weaknesses, and exposing their insecurities without realizing it, he's collecting data like a human lie detector crossed with a chess grandmaster. He remembers the offhand comments you made when you thought no one was paying attention. He stores away your contradictions, your emotional triggers, your patterns of behavior. He watches how you react under stress, who you confide in when you're vulnerable, and what you brag about when you're feeling powerful. And the scariest part, he won't act right away. He won't use this information while you still expect it. He lets you feel safe. He lets you build your comfort zone, lets your ego swell, lets you think you've won, all while he quietly loads the ammunition. And when he finally strikes, it's surgical, precise, merciless. He won't yell. He won't warn you. He'll expose you in front of the right people at the wrong moment. When your career depends on your secrecy, when your relationship depends on your honesty, when your reputation depends on your control, you won't have time to defend yourself because his attack is the kind that strikes at the foundation of who you are, not just your surface mistakes. He won't just call out your flaws. He'll make you question whether you were ever as smart, strong, or respected as you thought. And to make it worse, people will believe him, not because he's loud, but because the facts he presents are undeniable. This isn't some angry revenge tactic. For the Sigma, it's about restoring balance in his own universe. You crossed a line, and now he'll erase your safety net with one cold, calculated move. Then, just like that, he'll disappear, leaving you scrambling to figure out when the game even started. But by then, it's over. Number 3, he turns charm into a scalpel. A Sigma male doesn't use charm to entertain you or win your approval. He uses it as a tool, sharp, calculated, and dangerous. When he turns on the charm, it feels effortless, sincere even. He'll smile at you in a way that makes you drop your guard, makes you think you found a safe space, someone who finally understands. He'll ask the right questions, listen intently, and give you just enough validation to make you open up your world. But beneath that calm exterior, he's not building a bond, he's gathering data. He's studying how your mind works, where your insecurities live, and what compliments you crave. And when the time is right, he won't need to raise his voice or break a sweat. He'll take that charm and turn it against you like a scalpel in the hands of a surgeon. No clumsy insults, no messy emotional explosions, just words so carefully chosen, so specifically targeted, that they cut straight through your defenses and hit the one place you were trying to protect. He might say it with a smile, in a calm, almost friendly tone. But that's what makes it brutal, because you won't know whether he's hurting you on purpose or whether you accidentally exposed yourself. That confusion is part of his power. You'll walk away from the conversation feeling disoriented, gutted, and somehow still blaming yourself for letting it happen. This isn't charm for the sake of manipulation alone. This is psychological warfare, delivered with the softness of silk and the sharpness of steel. He doesn't need to raise his voice to destroy you. He only needs to remind you of what you secretly fear is true about yourself. And he'll do it in such a subtle way that you'll keep replaying his words in your mind for weeks, trying to figure out how a simple conversation cut you so deeply. And when you look back, you'll realize something terrifying. The charm wasn't fake, it was real, but so was the knife hidden behind it. Number 4, he outsmarts, not outrages. When a Sigma male enters psycho mode, he doesn't blow up like a volcano. He freezes, and in that cold silence, his mind sharpens to something lethal. While others lose control, shouting, arguing, or making emotional threats, he's already 5 steps ahead, mentally solving the entire conflict like a puzzle. Anger wastes energy. Outrage gives away your strategy. He knows this, and he refuses to give his enemies that satisfaction. Instead, he sits quietly, observing their weaknesses, cataloging their mistakes, letting them feel like they've won. Most people confuse his stillness for defeat. That's their first and final mistake, because while they're celebrating, he's designing the blueprint for their downfall, and it won't be messy, it won't be loud, it'll be surgical. By the time they realize what he's done, it's irreversible. He won't hit them where they expect it. He'll take out their support system, tarnish their influence, or remove the opportunities they were counting on. Maybe it's a career move they never saw coming. Maybe it's a relationship burned to the ground without a single argument. Maybe it's a quiet rumor, a discreet decision, or a withdrawn favor at the exact wrong moment. And here's the genius part. He lets them destroy themselves. He just plants the seed. The rest of their collapse is fueled by their own arrogance, ego, and blindness. He doesn't need to push them off the cliff. He just points them in the right direction and lets gravity do the rest. What makes it terrifying is the timing. He won't react in the heat of the moment. He'll wait. Could be days, weeks, or months, long enough for them to think it's all forgotten, long enough for them to drop their guard. Then he strikes, not with rage, but with cold, undeniable precision. By the time they figure out what happened, they won't even know where to start fixing the damage. And all they'll remember is how calm he looked, right before their world fell apart. Number 5, he tests his dark side like a science experiment. When a Sigma male taps into his dark side, it's not some reckless spiral into chaos. It's calculated curiosity. To him, going psycho isn't about losing control. It's about testing control. He doesn't unleash his darkness blindly. He studies it like a scientist running an experiment. You're not a rival to defeat. You're a test subject, a case study, a variable in his personal lab. He'll push your buttons, not because he's angry, but because he wants to see where your breaking point really is. He'll test your pride, your patience, your insecurities. How much betrayal can you take before you crack? How far can he stretch your trust before you snap? And when you finally react, whether you explode, break down, or beg for mercy, that's when he's satisfied. Not because he enjoyed your suffering, but because your reaction proved his hypothesis right. To most people, darkness feels messy and out of control. For him, it's fascinating, it's clean. Every move he makes is calculated, every word, every silence, every deception is carefully placed to study how humans work. When their comfort is stripped away, he's not impulsive, he's methodical. Watching your mind unravel is part observation, part confirmation, but what makes this dangerous is his emotional detachment. While you're falling apart, crying, raging, or feeling betrayed, he's observing with the same detached interest a scientist might have watching chemicals react in a beaker. He's not laughing. He's not gloating. He's taking notes. And once he's learned what he needs to learn from you, he loses interest. He'll move on, leaving you to rebuild your shattered confidence while he prepares his next experiment on someone else. The truth is, when a Sigma male tests his dark side, he isn't trying to destroy you for fun. He's trying to understand how fragile people really are beneath all their masks. And in that process, he becomes colder, sharper, and less forgiving of human weakness. Because now he knows for sure, most people break long before they even realize they're being tested. Number 6, he triggers existential crises, not just regret. When a Sigma male goes dark, he doesn't aim for shallow victories. He's not satisfied with making you regret your words or actions. That's too easy. Regret fades with time. What he does is far deeper, far colder. He makes you question your entire existence. He forces you to confront parts of yourself you've spent your whole life avoiding. After crossing him, you won't just sit around feeling guilty. You'll sit alone, staring at your ceiling at 3 a.m., asking yourself questions no one ever prepared you to answer. Who am I really, without the lies I tell myself? Was I ever the good person I claimed to be? Or was I always this weak, this selfish, this fake? He doesn't destroy your reputation first. He destroys your self-perception, because once your own mind turns against you, no outside enemy matters. And the worst part, he doesn't have to scream to do it. Sometimes it's a single sentence, perfectly timed and brutally honest, that leaves your entire belief system in ruins. Or maybe it's his complete silence, cutting you off so suddenly and completely that you're left wondering why you weren't even worth a fight. The people who cross him expect anger. What they get instead is a mirror. And in that mirror they see their fears, their failures, and their hidden ugliness staring back at them with nowhere to hide. He won't let you comfort yourself with shallow excuses. He'll peel away your justifications until all you're left with is the raw truth of what you are and what you aren't. You'll walk around for days, maybe months, replaying the things he said, or worse, the things he didn't say. You'll question your past decisions, your relationships, your values, and that's exactly the point. He wants you to rebuild yourself or fall apart completely. Whether you rise stronger or collapse entirely is none of his concern. He already got what he wanted, the destruction of your false identity. Regret is temporary, but questioning your existence, that kind of pain stays with you, and that's the level Sigma Psycho Mode operates on. Number 7, he turns into a cold-blooded strategist, not a hot-headed monster. When a Sigma male hits Psycho Mode, people expect fireworks. They expect screaming, wild threats, and chaotic behavior. But that's not what happens. He doesn't lose his mind. He sharpens it. He becomes colder, calmer, and far more dangerous. His darkness isn't emotional. It's strategic. While everyone else is reacting with anger and panic, he's mapping out moves like a grandmaster in a silent tournament. He doesn't waste energy on public arguments or petty revenge. He studies patterns, identifies vulnerabilities, and plots actions so carefully that by the time he strikes, it feels less like revenge and more like destiny catching up with you. His calm face is the most unnerving part. No signs of rage, no heated words, just a quiet, detached focus that makes it clear he's already 5 steps ahead and nothing you say will change what's coming. What terrifies people most is how surgical his moves are. He knows where to hit so it hurts the most, and he does it without breaking a sweat. Maybe it's pulling the one connection that holds your career together. Maybe it's exposing a truth at the worst possible moment. Maybe it's simply walking away and letting your own weaknesses eat you alive. And the more chaotic the situation gets, the calmer he becomes. While others scramble, he thrives in the stillness of calculation. It's not personal for him. It's just the most efficient way to neutralize a threat. He's like a surgeon in an operating room, emotionless but precise, removing what's harmful without hesitation. The scariest part is you won't even realize the game has started until he's already won. You'll be wondering why things are falling apart, why people are turning away, why doors are closing, and he'll just be watching, silent and composed, as the pieces fall exactly where he placed them. This isn't madness, this is mastery. The Sigma male's psycho mode doesn't look like a breakdown. It looks like a perfectly executed blueprint unfolding in real time, and by the time you figure it out, your role in the story is already over. Number 8, he becomes ethically ruthless, not morally confused. When a Sigma male flips into psycho mode, he doesn't suddenly lose his sense of right and wrong. He just stops caring about society's definition of it. To most people, morality is about following the rules, doing what's socially acceptable, and keeping peace even when it feels fake. But for him, those rules were always optional. His ethics are personal, internal, and brutally specific. If his inner code tells him you deserve what's coming, he'll deliver it, no matter how ruthless it looks from the outside. He won't hesitate to burn bridges that once seemed unbreakable. He'll crush your carefully crafted dreams without a flicker of remorse. He'll take your shiny reputation and drop it in the dirt if he believes you've crossed his personal line. And he won't lose sleep over it, because in his world, justice and cruelty sometimes wear the same face. But don't mistake this for confusion. He's not wrestling with guilt or second-guessing his actions. He's clear-headed, crystal clear. The world taught him early on that playing nice doesn't guarantee survival, and that sometimes the only way to protect your peace is to destroy what threatens it. He isn't cruel for the thrill of it, he's ruthless because it works. The difference is, where others act out of impulse or social revenge, he acts out of principle, his own principle. And sometimes that principle is brutal. If loyalty is broken, he won't waste time explaining why it hurt. He'll just erase you from his life, your opportunities, and your comfort zone. If betrayal happens, he won't ask why. He'll make sure it never happens again, even if that means torching an entire relationship or network to the ground. He doesn't need your approval or anyone's sympathy. His ethics aren't built for public applause. They're built for his survival, his peace of mind, and his unshakable sense of balance. And if balancing the scales means you lose everything you've built, so be it. In the end, Sigma psycho mode isn't blind rage, it's targeted justice delivered without mercy and without apology. Number 9, he's not loud, he's untraceable. When a Sigma male goes psycho, he doesn't need noise to prove his power. He disappears into silence. No shouting matches, no slammed doors, no warning signs. While most people explode when they're pushed too far, he vanishes, and that's exactly what makes him dangerous. His psycho mode works like a ghost in the system. You won't see him coming, and by the time you realize what's happening, it's already too late. He knows that emotional outbursts only give your enemies a chance to prepare. That's why he keeps his plans hidden behind a calm face and a quiet presence. People think they've won because they don't hear from him anymore. They think he's given up, moved on, or backed down, but behind the scenes he's working silently, cutting off your options, blocking your paths, and removing your safety nets one by one. He doesn't announce revenge. He lets it unfold naturally, like a quiet storm creeping in under your radar. Your plans will fail without explanation. The people you relied on will turn distant without warning. Your opportunities will dry up when you least expect it, and you'll be left wondering if it's bad luck or something much more calculated. He operates in silence because silence creates confusion, and confusion creates mistakes. While you scramble for answers, he watches you fall apart from a distance, leaving no fingerprints on the scene. He doesn't need public credit for your collapse. The quiet satisfaction of knowing you never saw it coming is enough. And here's what really messes with people. You won't even know where the next blow is coming from. It could be your career, your social life, your mental peace, or your closest relationships. He strikes wherever you're most unprepared, and then he disappears again, leaving you guessing whether it's over or just getting started. Sigma psycho mode isn't about destruction for the sake of chaos. It's about silent, precise, invisible moves that dismantle your world while you're still busy pretending everything's fine. And by the time you realize it was him, he'll be long gone. Number 10, he turns people's strengths against them. When a Sigma male goes dark, he doesn't waste time attacking your obvious flaws. That's what amateurs do. Instead, he studies what you're most proud of, your strengths, and uses them as the very weapons that bring you down. He knows that people hide their weaknesses, but they wear their strengths like badges of honor, wide open and exposed. And that's exactly where he strikes. If you pride yourself on kindness, he'll test how far your empathy will stretch. He'll create situations where your compassion makes you vulnerable, where your need to help others blinds you to his manipulation. Before you know it, your generosity becomes the very thing he uses to control you. You'll think you're doing the right thing, but in reality, you're playing directly into his hands. If you love your power, your authority, your influence, he'll feed your ego just enough to inflate it and then corner you with it. He'll let you feel untouchable until you overreach, overpromise, or overlook a critical threat. And when your power becomes a weakness, he'll strike where it hurts the most, your pride. If your strength is intelligence, he'll challenge your certainty. He'll lead you down a path where you think you're in control, only to flip the script at the last moment and make you realize your so-called genius was predictable all along. He doesn't break down your defenses head-on. He turns them inward, making you the architect of your own collapse. That's what makes his approach so terrifying. You'll think you're winning until you realize every move you made was part of his design. And when it all falls apart, you won't just feel defeated. You'll feel betrayed by your own strengths, because he didn't destroy you. He simply let your best qualities destroy you from the inside out. That's Sigma Psycho mode at its coldest. He won't attack what you're hiding. He'll weaponize what you're proud to show. Number 11, he kills illusions, not people. When a Sigma male goes full psycho, he's not interested in hurting your body. That's too simple, too primitive. What he wants to destroy is far deeper, your illusions. The stories you tell yourself about who you are, what you're worth, and where you stand in the world. He's a psychological assassin, not a physical threat. He doesn't need fists when he has truth. And not the polite kind of truth society sugarcoats to protect feelings. He delivers the kind of truth that strips away your ego, your comfort, and your carefully crafted identity. He exposes the cracks in your confidence, the lies in your success, and the blind spots in your belief system. You might think you're powerful, kind, respected, or untouchable. But once he's done, you'll start to question all of it. Were people really your friends, or were they tolerating you? Did you earn your success, or were you just lucky and well-connected? Is your confidence real, or is it just a mask covering your insecurities? He'll destroy the myths you built your life on, and he'll do it so calmly, so logically, that you won't even know how to argue back. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't insult you, he simply holds up the mirror and lets you see yourself without the filters you've relied on for years. And most people aren't ready for that kind of reflection. The damage he causes isn't something you can heal with an apology or a self-help book. It sticks. Because once you've seen yourself without your illusions, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to who you were before he tore down the lies you lived in. This is why Sigma Psycho mode feels so devastating. He doesn't need to harm your body to destroy you. He removes your comfort zone, your false confidence, and your carefully built identity. What's left is the raw, uncomfortable reality of who you really are. And most people aren't strong enough to face that without falling apart. That's his real power. He kills the version of you that thought you were safe. Number 12, his revenge is delayed but cataclysmic. When a Sigma male plans revenge, he doesn't rush it. He's not looking for the quick emotional high of getting even. He's looking for maximum impact. So he waits. And while he waits, he watches you rebuild your life, gather your wins, and climb to what feels like your personal peak. He lets you taste happiness, success, and peace. Because destroying you when you're down isn't satisfying. But destroying you when you're finally standing tall, that's the moment it counts. Most people lash out in the heat of the moment, letting anger drive them into sloppy mistakes. Not him. He plays the long game. He'll let months, sometimes years, pass by as you start to think you've escaped the consequences of your actions. You'll think he forgot. You'll think he forgave. That's exactly what he wants you to believe. And then, just when life feels safe, when your career is booming, your relationships are strong, and your confidence is at its peak, that's when he moves. Without warning, without noise, he'll pull the rug out from under you so fast you won't even understand what happened. A key relationship crumbles, a hidden truth surfaces, an opportunity vanishes. Whatever you were building your life on suddenly cracks, and you'll be left standing in the ruins wondering how you missed the signs. What makes it worse is how personal it feels. This isn't some random bad luck. Every part of it feels tailored, precise, and almost poetic in its timing. You'll realize too late that your downfall wasn't an accident. It was a countdown. A countdown he started the moment you crossed him. But the most brutal part? He'll likely be nowhere to be found when it all falls apart. No gloating, no confrontation, no satisfaction shown. Just silence. Because for him, revenge isn't about watching you suffer. It's about knowing you now live in the very chaos you created for yourself. And he doesn't need to say a word. Sigma revenge isn't loud or messy. It's delayed, precise, and devastating enough to make you question whether you were ever truly in control of your life. When a Sigma male goes full psycho mode, it's not chaos, it's precision. It's not emotional rage. It's cold, calculated, strategic warfare. While others explode outward, burning bridges they'll later try to rebuild, he burns quietly, deliberately, and without the slightest intention of ever looking back. What's terrifying isn't his anger, it's his silence, his patience, and the way he turns human flaws into weapons against their owners. He doesn't break you physically. He breaks the story you tell yourself about who you are. He forces you to confront your own weaknesses, your fake strength, your shallow victories. And he does it so surgically that you don't even realize the damage until you're standing in the ruins, asking yourself how it all fell apart. Sigma psycho mode isn't loud, it's invisible. It moves in the spaces between your overconfidence and your blind spots. It turns your strengths into liabilities, your peace into paranoia, and your success into a temporary illusion waiting to collapse. And perhaps the scariest part, he walks away without the need to explain himself. No dramatic final words, no victory speech, no need for recognition. Because for him, the satisfaction isn't in being seen as the destroyer, it's in knowing that the collapse was inevitable once he pulled the right thread. At the end of the day, the Sigma male's psycho mode is not madness, it's clarity. The clarity to see the truth most people run from, the clarity to act without fear of judgment, and the clarity to disappear when the job is done, leaving behind only questions, broken systems, and people wondering how they ever mistook silence for weakness. And now you know. The next time a Sigma male goes quiet, it may already be too late. If this hit deeper than you expected, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button and join a community that sees beyond the surface. Like this video, if it opened your eyes to the quiet storms walking among us. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever met someone like this? Or maybe, are you him? And share this with someone who thinks silence means weakness. Trust me, they need to hear this. Stay sharp, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next one.